All right, so here is part 2 of the video. It contains questions 11 through 20. Again, you will need workbook pages 71 through, I believe, 79 is mostly what we're using. Okay, number 11. Also, again, remember, pause after I read each question so that you have time to answer at your own pace, okay? So number 11, which represents the ideals of Taoism? So again, before I even read the choices, I'm going to remind you that Taoism is on page 75 of your workbook. There's 2 paragraphs there. One is about Taoism, one is about legalism. So the first one is about Taoism. I'm just going to read it real quick again. Around the same time as Confucianism, other influential beliefs arose in China. Taoism stressed living in harmony with Tao, the guiding force of all reality. Taoists believed that people should be like water and simply let things flow in a natural way. They regarded humans as just a part of nature, not better than any other thing. Laozi was the most famous Taoist teacher. We also had that worksheet, again, remember, where we walked around the room with those 6 questions. And question number 3 is, what was Taoism and who taught it? And the answer that you should have on your paper is Taoism is living in harmony with the Tao, the guiding force of all reality, and Laozi was the most famous teacher of Taoism. So the question is, which represents the ideals of Taoism? An early Chinese belief that people were bad by nature and needed to be controlled, the fouling of the thought that acting respectful will make others act respectful also, an early Chinese belief that stressed living in harmony with the guiding force of all reality, or a belief that there should be no social classes, all people are equal. Again, which one of those represents the ideals of Taoism? Number 12. This was the longest dynasty in China's history. It was a period of intellectual awakening. Many important thinkers and philosophers lived during this dynasty. Is this the Xia, the Qin, the Zhao, or the Shang? So again, if we go to lesson 2, we hear about, there's the Zhao, here's the Zhao. They came from an area west of the Shang kingdom. The Zhao overthrew the Shang. The Zhao expanded its territory. Then its armies moved south to the Changjiang River. The Zhao established a new political order. The king granted land to lords, taxpayers. They paid taxes and provided soldiers to the king. Okay? Is there anything in there about them being the longest dynasty? Then we have in lesson 3, we have the Qin Dynasty. And the warring states marked a period of time in China when several states battled each other for power. One state, the Qin, built a strong army that defeated the armies of the other states. Shihuangdi was a follower of legalist belief. He created a strong government with strict laws and severe punishment. He ordered the burning of all writings that did not agree with legalism. Then I'm going to go down. Qin rule brought other major changes to China. Under Shihuangdi, new policies and achievements united the people. The emperor set up a uniform system of law, rules, and punishments. You can also look at your timeline that is posted, that we did. So who was the longest dynasty in China's history? You might want to actually use your timeline for that. Question 13. Which statement accurately characterizes the rule of Shihuangdi? I just read about Shihuangdi. He followed legalists, thought and ruled as an absolute monarch. He was influenced by Taoist, little part in the government. He was influenced by Confucius, a caring monarch. He allowed his ministers to create laws. So in lesson 3, what did we hear about Shihuangdi? Says that he set up new policies and achievements that united the Chinese people. The emperor set up a uniform system of laws, rules, and punishment were all the same. It also says up at the top, Shihuangdi was a follower of the legalist belief. He created a strong government with strict laws and severe punishments. So what kind of, which of these statements accurately characterizes Shihuangdi? He followed legalists, he was influenced by Taoists, he was influenced by Confucius, or he let his ministers create new laws. Number 14. The first Qin emperor created a strong but what government? I just read that. He created a strong government with what? So he created a strong but what government? Sad, uniform, poor, or strict? Number 15. Shihuangdi became the first blank of China, uniting the country after years of civil war. Did he become the first emperor, the first general, the first king, or the first lord? Again, you want to look in lesson 3, which starts on page 77 in your workbook, if you want to look in your workbook. And it says, 1, state the Qin built a strong army that defeated the Qin king Ying Zhang, unified China. He gave himself the title of Shihuangdi, which means first emperor. So what was he? Emperor, first emperor, general, king, or lord? Number 16, under the blank China. Under the blank, so which dynasty? China was unified, a network of roads and canals were built, and written language was standardized. I just read about it. Is it the Qin Dynasty, the Zhou, the Han, or the Huang Dynasty? Number 17, which is not an achievement of the Qin Dynasty? So for that, you're going to look on lesson 3, and you can look at the bottom of page 77 going on to 78. And we talk about a unified China. He has new policies, uniform system of laws. He standardized the written language. He also set up a new standardized money system. The Great Wall of China was made. He built canals and highways. Okay? So which one of these is not an achievement of the Qin Dynasty? New roads to improve transportation, canals built to connect rivers, new harsh government, or new markets for farmers and artisans to sell their goods. So you want to look at the bottom of page 78 and then 77 and then page 78. Number 18. How did Emperor Shihuangdi increase China's agricultural production? So if we go to lesson 3, we want to find where they talk about the agricultural production. I don't think it really says here. People everywhere were required to write using the same set of symbols. People from different regions could now communicate. He set up a new monetary system, the network of highway. He built canals to connect the country rivers. Goods could be shipped faster and easier. Also, he built an irrigation system to make land good for farming. So how did he increase Chinese agriculture production? He gave metal plows to the farmers. He introduced potatoes. He built irrigation systems to redirect water. or he hired foreigners to teach new farming methods. Number 19. Pieces of bone or turtle shell used to communicate with the spirits and gods were called what? That was from lesson 1. What were those pieces of bones called? Bronze bones, oracle bones, touty bones, or spirit bones? I don't think. Let me make sure it's not lesson 3. It's not lesson 2. It was in lesson 1 where we talked about those bones on page 72. All right, and then question number 20. Check all that apply. Which ideals represent Confucianism? So Confucianism is in lesson 3. Nope, sorry, lesson 2. Page 75, I believe it is. 73. Let me see. Yep, the top of page 75. Confucius and society. Toward the end of the Zhou period, the most influential teacher in Chinese history, Confucius traveled through China. He taught that order in society stems from ethics or moral values. He wanted China to return to the ideas and practices from a time when people knew their proper roles in society. Confucianism has been a guiding force in human behavior and religious understanding in China through the centuries. So the question is, which of these ideals represent Confucianism? You're going to check all that you think are part of it. Moral values and ethics, respect others, balance of opposite, and moral leadership, not laws, brought order to China. Okay? When you are done, please double check that you've answered all your questions. Make sure your name is on the front of the test packet. And I hope you did well.